Hello everybody, welcome to the Diablo 3 speedrun. We're going to be doing any percent new game Demon Hunter. So we'll create our hero here. And time will start on my first action in game, so I'll count down and we'll start on go. So, 3, 2, 1, go.
Only the dead reek like this.
Alright, so Diablo 3, for a new game, we have to do special rules because Diablo 3 on PC is always online, so I always have access to everything on my account and there's no way to really reset it. So for new game, I'm not allowed to use my Paragon, my stash, the artisans, or the vendors. So the most notable of those two are the artisans and vendors. I won't be able to buy anything from the shops, and I won't be able to sell my items or salvage them. So when
in other words, it's a purist run.
Yeah. So when I my inventory gets full of old items, I'll be dropping them while I'm running, which is faster than selling them or vendoring them anyways. So I clicked on that book on the way in to drop it to the floor, and we'll pick it up on the way out to get to level 2. And the next thing you'll notice, I'm going to be skipping killing monsters pretty much as possible, only killing mobs that progress the quest forward, and that mob right there is supposed to be a quest objective, but you can just walk past her and it'll complete itself. So most of our experience is gained from from quest hand-ins, and the way the difficulty scaling works in Diablo 3 means I won't need to stop and farm, because there's two ways that the difficulty scales. One is by your chosen difficulty, which we're playing on the easiest on normal, so the monsters have as little health as possible and deal as little damage, but you get less XP and less loot, but that's not super important. And then the second way it scales is based off of your level, so it doesn't matter how far ahead into the campaign I get, it'll keep matching my level. So that allows me to just walk past anything I don't need to kill. How'd I get into Diablo 3? I bought it when the game was released, and I played it kind of casually for a while. So right here, we missed that. So if I had gone to the waypoint before Leah joined my party, she would have appeared at the gate and saved a few seconds of her walking to the gate. But yeah, how I got into Diablo 3, I played it at launch, and then on and off for a while, and then I did like end game stuff pretty seriously for like a year or two after Reaper of Souls came out. And then I got bored of that and started speedrunning it eventually.
Last night, I suspected what was lurking within his troubled heart. I consoled him as best I could.
So early on is pretty slow, we're just walking. Demon Hunter is the fastest new game class by like 5 seconds compared to Monk. But the reason Demon Hunter is fastest is because of Vault and a passive that you can take along with it called Tactical Advantage, which gives you movement speed after vaulting and certain other skills as well. So that's what makes Demon Hunter the fastest for new game. And we'll be getting Vault at level 9 and Tactical Advantage at level 10, which speeds up the run quite a bit. So Cathedral level 1 is our first random map. There's going to be a lot of random maps. Some of them have better patterns and strategies that you can learn than others. This one is pretty much just random, and I have to go and check in all directions. So that's a dead end.
Please kill me. I don't want to change.
No, just making sure. I don't want to have to come back this way. Still a filthy casual even though I speedrun riffs. Alright, so we're looking for Deckard. He should be up here based off of this tile. Yep, there he is. Have to save him from some skeletons. Crazy how it translates to only 5 seconds. Neither of the runs are like... They're pretty good, but there's still time to be saved on both of them. Also, it feels like I'm lagging. That's unfortunate. Hopefully that goes away. Yeah, for the longest time, Demon Hunter was ahead by like a couple of minutes, but just got a really good run on Monk one time, so caught it up. So right there, I used the map and the waypoint to teleport. We don't have teleport unlocked yet. It gets unlocked later in the campaign, in this act, but we're able to still teleport using the map and waypoint system, which is nice. It saves us some time. Otherwise, if you weren't going to teleport out like that, you have to wait for Kane to open the door, and then you walk through the door and you go back via the waypoint. So up here is one of the biggest or more important tricks for new game. It's not very flashy, but it's gonna get us from level 4 after I finish this quest to level 7. So I'm going to kill Mira to finish this quest, but I'm not going to hand it in. I'm going to back out and increase the difficulty to Torment 6, which is the highest I can raise it on a character under level 70. And then we'll come back in to hand in the quest, and it'll give us get us to level 7 from the increased XP. Normally that'd give about a half a level of experience. Also, I positioned myself pretty specifically in that narrow corridor to make sure that this portal spawned to get me back into the basement faster. Also, from completing that quest, it gave me an item that matches the item I already have. Nice. And we have to make sure to lower the difficulty once we're done with the trick, otherwise I'll get one shot when I leave town. So we unlocked a bunch of runes and stuff, so I'll be grabbing runes and skills, so I'll be grabbing those while I'm walking here. So we took Rapid Fire. That's going to be our main DPS for the most of the run. We'll sometimes be using Impale as well for some pretty good DPS. And we also switched Caltrops to Impale with Impact, which will knock back enemies so I can push them out of my way if I get body blocked, instead of having to actually kill them. So here I'm trying to break some of these objects to get a breakable bonus, which you can see there, which will give me move speed for 30 seconds to 60 seconds depending on how many breakables I hit. So here I increase the volume. There's a audio cue. I think we're in the right crypt, so there's 3 crypts and only one of them is the correct one. The audio cue I am listening for is the ambient wind. The correct crypt is a little bit louder and higher pitched, but I haven't been running this a lot recently, so it's kind of hard to tell, but this should be the right one. The incorrect crypts are kind of quieter and a lot more bassy for that wind noise. So yeah, this was the right one we got on the first try.
That the crown is nearby.
And yeah, so that voice line could help us out, you know, earlier on before I know that I'm already in the right one. So right there, to open that door, I attacked to open it faster. Normally it takes a bit longer for that door to open, and you don't have to kill the guy that pops out. So I position my corner in the top right of the door to get past him, because he can kind of block your cursor. So right here after we kill the ghost is when we actually unlock our real teleport ability, which doesn't make a big difference for a solo run, but it does have some uses between the 2 different kinds of teleport in a co-op run. No move speed boots yet, which is unfortunate. So for most of my gear, I'm going to be prioritizing damage on pretty much everything except my boots. My boots I'll always prioritize move speed. So here we got some more breakables, and I timed it with the opening of the door to get max use out of it. Enlightened, don't really care about that too much. So here I was looking for this blue kind of L-shaped piece, which will get us going in the right direction. It saves me from checking that other dead end, but there can still be another dead end ahead here in Cathedral level 2. This should be the right path though. Hope the Blizzard servers are top notch tonight. Fortunately for New Game, it's slow enough where it doesn't make a huge difference. New Game Plus, there's actually multiple NA servers, and if I'm going for a PB, I actually need to remake the game a couple of times before I start the run to get onto the right server, which is lots of fun. Because if my ping is too high in a New Game Plus run, it's impossible to control the abilities on a Demon Hunter or a Monk. So, you might have noticed I kind of just walked past the Templar there when you're supposed to save him. He doesn't really need help. There's an invisible line there that you just walk through and it'll progress. However, we found out in a co-op run, whoever was leading the pack at the time must have gone through one of the side routes or something and missed the invisible barrier, and he didn't get the Templar freed, and we were so confused as to what was happening.
You were a Templar, John Dar. How could you
So another thing here is there's two different kinds of dialogue skips. So right here you can see those little text bubbles above the characters' heads. That can't be skipped using escape. The other kind of text dialogue you just saw was the big boxes. So the big boxes at the bottom center of my screen can be skipped using escape, but the text bubbles can't. Those have to be skipped using a key called Close All Windows, which is pretty not intuitive to like anybody ever. Like, why would that be a thing to skip conversations? But it is. So that's very important because there's a lot of those text bubble conversations that you wouldn't be able to skip otherwise, and it saves a lot of time. So here on Cathedral level 4, this map spawns in a 3x3 square, and that helps me identify where some of the possible dead ends and exits will be, but it's still going to be hard to find where I want to go. So I know the top right isn't gonna, or that path over there isn't gonna be the exit because I saw a bunch of blue stuff. We don't want to go towards the blue stuff on this map. So right now I'd be in the top right of that square. Since I don't see the exit there, it would have popped up, so that's a dead end. It looks like we chose the wrong path. If I'd gone the other way first, it would have been faster, but there is no way for me to tell. Jandar, please. Alright, so it should be this should be the last spot. Yeah. And there is our exit, so we'll be heading towards the Skeleton King. This next map is always exactly the same, just a short little map to get to the Skeleton King here, and we'll get some, hopefully a breakable bonus. There we go. Almost didn't get it. Probably should have grabbed those gloves. I don't need items. They're not important. Just boots. Boots and weapons. There's a little cinematic piece there. Don't have to stick around for that at all. And opening doors is the true enemy in this game, the real boss. Like, both this and Path of Exile have, like, I don't know what it is with this style of ARPG where opening doors is so damn difficult to, like, program, but it seems to be a common issue where you click on a door, and instead of opening the door, you shoot or attack whatever's on the other side instead of opening the door. Doors are the true bosses of ARPGs. So here's the Skeleton King. The first time you kill him in the campaign on a new character, he'll always drop a Leoric's crown, so we'll be getting that at the end. And when you get legendaries in Diablo 3, before you can wear them, you have to channel the item to identify it. And we have specific spots in the run timed out so we can stop and channel and lose as little time as possible doing that. So we're just gonna rapid fire down the Skeleton King here as best we can. He's gonna summon some stuff in our way. We have pretty decent damage for him right now though, which is nice. The fight can take a bit longer sometimes. So I'm gonna look through my items here as I'm walking down towards Tyrael. Right now he's just a mystery man. We don't know who he is, but I know who he is. I've seen him before. A couple times. Just a few times. I guess I could give that axe to my follower, to the Templar. Normally I don't bother gearing him, but when I have downtime and nothing better to do, I can give that to him. So here we got more graves, get some move speed. And we're almost level 9 when the run starts getting speedy. Oh wait, okay, I guess we're not giving that to him. His DPS is crap anyways, it doesn't matter. Kind of dropped it out of instinct because it wasn't a upgrade for me. So Fields of Misery here, we're looking for the Khazar Den. This is a map with a static border, but the stuff within the map can switch up randomly. That ping over there is not the quest objective, that's the Key Warden, and he can cast Jailer on me, so I want to stay away from him. I also think I might have messed up the route slightly. So there's 4 spots that the den can spawn, and this is one of the hardest of these types of maps to get the route, because the entire route is through like the center of the map. The other maps with these static borders, there's borders along the edges that you can follow to stay on the path. And it looks like if I did this right, it's gonna be the last spawn. Oh. Let's see. The Key Warden might have been standing on top of it, which would be awkward because I was trying to avoid that. I'm gonna be thorough here and check a little bit to the left as well so I don't have to backtrack more than I'm already doing. I was getting really nice layouts in my practice run. It was always like the first 2 dens, or first 2 spawns. Where are you? Okay, well I'm gonna walk past him. He's probably gonna cast Jailer on me, and it's gonna be a sad time. Where the heck is my map? So the path I am intended to follow starts here, it goes up a little bit, and then to the right, or to the left some, and then straight up again. But we apparently failed to follow this path correctly. Is why I gave myself plenty of extra time in my estimate. What the hell? There we go. Holy crap.
The sword piece must be inside this cave.
Spoilers. Crap, did I spoil something? Oh no. Did you know we're gonna kill Diablo later in this game? Imagine doors having priority over enemies on your side of the door. That sounds fine to me. I just want a separate hotkey for opening doors, that's all I need. Okay, here's where we can identify the crown. I'm gonna let her talk for a bit. because she's gonna spawn mobs. If I spawn the mobs too soon, they'll interrupt me there. So here, I'm gonna pick up the sword piece after I kill these, and if I time it right, I can teleport and pick up the piece at the same time. We didn't get it. It's pretty much frame perfect trick. I did get it in the practice run, so we get another attempt at that trick in a little bit here. Wow, I didn't explore this map right at all. Holy cow. So the waypoint shares spawns with the den I was looking for. So that would have been the last spot that the den could have spawned, and I didn't even check that spot either.
And only when I was in grave danger. Something rises up from deep within me and
You there!
this is just like time.
So here is, you save a lot of time by being able to skip those speech bubble text or conversations.
You won't get away from us this time! Yes.
And another Leoric's helm, or Leoric's crown. I know it's a Leoric's crown without looking at it because it's the only thing that can drop at this level for a demon hunter as a helmet. This would be the second spot to ID something, and I did have something to ID. I'm actually just gonna drop it because I don't have time to ID it past that point really, and it's most likely gonna roll the same stats as what I'm wearing. There's no cow level. Oh, we're almost level 9. So close. This yellow bar here is my XP.
All of ancient doom hangs upon these woods.
So we're gonna go retrieve the beacons to open up the next door. We're looking for 2 dungeons here, and these ones are much easier to find than the previous one. There's a straight line of 3 possible spawns on the right, and a straight line of 3 possible spawns on the left.
This is amazing. It reminds me of being a child.
I might just... No. Okay, we threw our impale at the wall. That's what I wanted to do. Just a little bit more. Give me the level up. Please. There we go. Now I can vault. And top half of the map, like I said, is straight lines, so there's this one spawned in the first spot it could be at. It's vaulting time, PogChamp. Pool of Reflection. So that will give me a little XP boost for 75% of my current level, or 50. That doesn't look like 75% to me, but I'm pretty sure that's the number. Whatever. There's a 75 in those numbers somewhere. So we're gonna just go back to the waypoint that we passed by earlier right in front of the temple. We don't need to walk all the way back or anything. So right here I'm gonna try a pedestal skip. I think I got it. So normally there's a channeling animation that you can't break. So as you can see, I couldn't move for the second one. I didn't need to try it on the second one because I have to wait for those stairs to rise up anyways, but that saves a tiny bit of time not having to do that action. And it's pretty precise timing. We'll also get to try for the sword teleport trick right after this as well. The teleporting one is a lot harder to hit, in my opinion. Let's see, what do we get there? Frenzy Shrine? That's okay. Take it. So Frenzy Shrine is just attack speed for us. The shrines we really want to see are Fleeting and Empowered.
I am returning to town.
So you could hear my character say the voice line for the teleport, but I didn't quite get it. If I did get it, you would see the teleporting channel above my character's head while she's picking up the sword. You have to be careful though, because if you mistime it in the reverse direction, so my mistiming that time, I heard the voice line, but interrupted it, so I basically hit the teleport too soon in that instance, and if you hit the teleport too late, or I don't know, but if you mistime it where you do see the teleporting channel above your head, you gotta make sure that right before the end of the channel you actually pick up the sword piece, because if you missed it, then you're gonna go back to town without the sword. Don't want to do that. So these mobs always spawn here, that elite pack and these blue mobs. Always the same. I'm out of hatred. Also, I got Nephilim glory stacks. That's these yellow globes on the ground. 2 stacks will give me move speed, so I want to look to get at least 2 stacks whenever possible. I can't really control when those drop. We got tactical advantage now as well. So the Nephilim glory buff, whoops, blah, there, lasts 60 seconds and can be refreshed by picking up more orbs or health globes. So we're gonna pick up this orb to refresh it again. But it's hard to keep the buff up for very long since we're going to be running past most monsters. And we're heading towards, I want to wear that, Queen Arene. And this map will give a lot of casual players and newer runners some trouble because it looks like a giant labyrinth. But it can be split up into 3 sections. So this first section, I just need to check the top and bottom. I don't ever need to check across. So 50-50 of me picking the right way the first time. The second section is a 2x2 square of tiles, and there's 4 spots I'll need to check. The 2 spots in the top left and 2 spots in the bottom right.
I am too low on discipline.
So, based off of that, I'm not gonna need to check that spot. I know it will never spawn there. And give our Templar some more heals for us. Here's the second spot. It's not there either. So, knowing the layout saves a bit of time of not needing to check these dead ends, but it can still slow you down a bit if you are unlucky and start going the wrong direction first. And this is the path we're looking to get us to the 3rd section of the caverns. And the 3rd section, it's always going to be up and to the right no matter which way you come into this section from. So I just turn right this way. And now we'll be heading towards Queen Arene, Spider Boss. Every ARPG has to have a Spider Boss. It is a requirement. So she has 3 cycles. It's possible to 2 cycle her in new game, or she has up to 3 cycles, and it's possible for 2 with in new game. I don't seem to have enough damage. I want to try and get her below half to be able to 2 cycle her. And in New Game Plus, you can one-shot her and for a 1 cycle. Almost had her. So I'm gonna free the Mystic before picking up these items. Hey, more Nephilim Glory. Wow. That's nice. Now if we just get some move speed boots. So here, I don't have to hand in that quest. I could just walk past her, but handing in that quest is going to give me the quest marker for the staff that I'm looking for. Otherwise, if I just went past her, I could go and search for the staff, but I'd have to walk up to each spot. This way, it'll show me a lot sooner on the map where I need to go. So there we go. It's got a really wide range on this objective. Let's see, I didn't see what that shrine was. Protection. Not useful. Don't really take damage on normal difficulty. So I want to be a bit mindful of my discipline here, which is the blue resource that I've been using to vault, if you didn't pick up on that. And hatred is the red resource that I use for damaging attacks. So I wanted to kind of conserve a bit of discipline there, which I didn't actually do, because it can get a bit crowded in those in that little corridor. Hexon, good luck. Thank you very much.
To me, you beasts! Let none touch me!
Also, I wanted to save some for that spot as well, to not get body blocked. And this map, static borders, and since the next exit I'm looking for is along the borders, I can just take the same path every time. So there we got a fleeting shrine for movement speed, which is what we want to see. I don't like being body blocked though. There we go.
She's unstoppable!
Yeah, I am unstoppable.
Shut up and die. Delay her.
Very great voice line.
Depths below. I will.
So, Demon Hunter and Witch Doctor have to do that fight. I think there's a lot of other classes that also actually have to do that fight in New Game, but in New Game Plus, all the other classes have abilities that can jump over walls, and there's some windows in the bottom of that room that you can actually jump through, and Monk gets their dash ability very early on, so you can skip that entire fight sequence. But on a Demon Hunter we roll, and we can't roll through walls, so I have to do that fight. For Halls of Agony level 1, part of the map spawns in a 2x2 square, and I'm looking for a tile with butcher cleavers on it, which we just found. And this will lead us towards the exit. Gotta roll harder to get through the walls. Just gotta do it better. If I roll fast enough, I'll roll through the wall. Halls of Agony level 2 is pretty straightforward. We just need to go towards the bottom right, and it will show us very early on where we need to go. And there's only 2 places that the exit can spawn, and they're both in the bottom right. So otherwise I would normally have to go up 1 or down 1. I can't really tell which spot could have been the other possible spawn, since there was a 4-way fork, but regardless. Easy map. Go to the bottom right. Next we're heading towards the Cursed Hold, and we're gonna have to free some spirits or some souls that have been imprisoned there. And the edges of the map is just one big square with a bunch of prison cells in the middle, and the prison cells can have a couple different layouts, so we'll hopefully get some favorable ones. So we got a good layout here and an empowered shrine. So what we're looking for in the cells layouts are the ones that have a T section in the middle, so I can get to each of the cells very quickly. There are other layouts where the cells kind of snake in and snake around on each other, and you have to weave in through all the cells, and it takes a bit longer to search all the spots. So, Empowered Shrine that we picked up there is giving us increased resource regeneration. Oh shit. Apparently, I didn't look close enough at this cell. We get, from Empowered, we get increased resource regeneration and reduced cooldowns. So that'll help us a lot with vaulting more often. And later on, we'll be getting a skill called Preparation that restores our discipline, which we use to vault. And getting Empowered with that will lower the cooldown of Preparation so we can restore our discipline more often, which is very good. And this is the bad layout I was talking about. They kind of snake around on each other, and I have to walk around to this side to get to these prisoners.
The gods have seen fit to release me freedom after so long.
And then we're gonna go back this way. Luck with run. Thank you. I also hope to have luck with this run. Yeah. And now we gotta go this way to get out of here, because there's no doors on this side of the cells. So we're waiting for the warden to spawn here. It takes a little bit. And I'm positioning myself towards the bottom because the exit's in the bottom left. And I don't really care about that item too much. I'm gonna take Rapid Fire Rune. That decreases the channeling cost, which just helps me maintain it for the entire boss fight for most fights. And now we are finally headed towards the Butcher, the last boss of this act. And the last boss of each act will guaranteed drop a legendary for a new character the first time you kill the boss in the campaign. So the Butcher is going to drop a guaranteed legendary for us. And we do have to do a bit of searching to get onto the right path, but this should be the right path. Yeah. So after a certain point, it's just a long corridor to get to him. So back there, those other paths would have just ended up in a square and like a little tiny dead end. And this was actually a really, really short path to get to the Butcher. This pathway here can be quite long sometimes.
If only this dark place
So I'm standing behind him towards this wall, so he doesn't use his charge ability across the arena here. So I want him to drop the items next to the door, and we can interrupt his abilities that would knock me back with our Impale. So we got a Quiver, which is kind of okay. The best legendary we can get for a Demon Hunter is probably Heart of Iron, which is kind of funny because it's a tank item. It would be considered a tank item normally, but none of the Demon Hunter specific items that drop early actually give the Demon Hunter any damage. So we can't skip this animation, so we identify our legendary here. But Heart of Iron will give you a bunch of thorns damage based on how much vitality you have, and when you're fighting things on normal, it's a lot of damage. Bosses will like chunk themselves down by a quarter of their HP each time they hit you if you find a Heart of Iron. So that's why it's the best item for Demon Hunters. None of their class specific items will boost their skills damage. Other classes like Monk, they can get certain weapons or boots that will, for example, increase their Tempest Rush damage specifically by like 300%. Or there might be Lashing Tail Kick boots, I forget, but yeah. those kind of legendaries exist for other classes, which is kind of nice when you do find them, but it sucks when you don't find them because it makes your PB runs a lot faster when you do find them, and then when you don't find them, it's hard to keep up with that.
Let me clear the way for you.
So I didn't skip that text because the Enchantress likes to get stuck sometimes for 20 to 30 seconds. Not really sure why, but letting her finish her conversation seems to get her stuck less often.
Try to hide their footsteps. Their spells are weak and easily countered.
More hidden footprints.
We can find their lairs and halt the rituals.
So here we're looking for two different rituals. There's 3 spots that one of them could spawn on the right side of the map, and it's going to be in the last spot. And there's 2 spots in the top left. So to interrupt these rituals, I just need to hit or kill one of them. I'm not sure which it is because I always one-shot them.
More hidden footprints.
Look, more hidden footprints. Very, very good line. One of my top Diablo 3 quotes. So now we're heading to the top left spawns. And if I got an incorrect spawn, I could have pointed this out. We got 2 of the incorrect spawns on the other side. The actual doors will always show up, but if it's the wrong one, they'll just be closed instead.
I think it is
So the Enchantress is actually from the future, I think, or the past. She's from a different time, and she came to tell us something important, probably. Or to help us. I'm not really sure. She was looking for us. So here is just a big map with static borders, and once again my next objective is along the border, so we know exactly where to go out here, because it'll be the same every time. My feet hurt because I don't have boots, and we're going slow. Something seems odd about the guards. I wonder what it is. Maybe we'll find out. Snake people. We'll get some move speed while we're down here. There's a bunch of vases, if I can hit them properly. Oh my gosh, they were all snake people. Did not see this coming.
I could get accustomed to that.
So next we'll be heading to Magda. I can't remember if I mentioned earlier, but there was a cutscene we skipped after the burning down chapel. Deckard actually died in that cutscene that we skipped. He was killed by Magda, so now we're gonna go kill Magda and avenge Cain. So right here a giant monster is gonna pop up. A lot of people think you need to kill him, but you don't. You can just roll right on past. Here's another one of my favorite quotes. It didn't play earlier in my practice, so hopefully it'll play now. Come on, say it. There we go.
Don't worry, I'm here to free you.
Yes. We are here to free them. Everybody remain calm. I'll be back later. I promise. I promise I won't forget about you. So, pretty, well, kind of straightforward fight, as long as these guys don't get in my way. It can get a bit dicey, but there we go. So these molten explosions aren't actually going to deal damage because they were despawned from me killing the boss, so they just don't deal damage for that reason. And that is actually important to know because those giant molten explosions in any other case would deal damage and would interrupt my teleport.
Let's go.
But since they don't, we can channel our teleport on top of them, or we can just pick up our items and not worry about dying because normally it's a large chunk of damage that it deals, and tanking 3 or 4 of them might not go too well. Okay, so Leah's supposed to be following me here, and when she's not, it's not a good thing, but she did come along. This is a spot that you can softlock on. Normally only happens in New Game Plus if you're going too fast. Leah just won't follow you and you can't progress through that area. Here's our first sewers tiles. The one we're in right now isn't so bad. It's a pretty short map, but there are similar tiles later on that can have long winding dead ends. So yeah, that's something to not look forward to. So the exit we're looking for is going to be on this fork somewhere. The last one I check, of course. I am stuck. There we go. So now we are saving Leah's mother, Adria. She definitely doesn't have bad intentions. She just wants to be a good mom.
I'm surprised.
According to the
I do not like this.
So now, go back into the sewers again. Might get a rude,
It's disgusting.
It's quite a maze down here.
a rude encounter with one of the townspeople.
Forgive us.
I kind of cut her off, but she calls me disgusting for going in and out of the sewers. I'll make sure she dies later. So here's more the sewer tiles. This isn't the bad one either. This one is also pretty short. The map after this is going to be the Dulgur Oasis, which is another one of the big maps with a static border that will be searching for a specific dungeon that can have a bunch of different spawns. So the pathing for this one is a lot easier to remember and to learn. Ooh, Empowered Shrine. More resources. And I'll be getting preparation skill I was talking about in just a moment at level 13. So the route to check for these dungeon spawns is essentially just hugging the left hand side of the map. Unless you get one of the last spawns, then you'll have to take a little bit of a turn towards the end of the map. But hopefully we find it early. The earlier the better. And we don't want to see the waypoint early because it shares the same spawns with the dungeon. And we did find it, so that's unfortunate. I don't want to take the waypoint in this case. If I didn't see it this early on, then it would potentially be in the top right hand corner and I could skip traversing through a bunch of the map unless I need to go through all of it anyways. We're down to like the last 2 or 3 spawns here. So there. This was either the second or third to last one. A little unfortunate. And now we're on the quest line to rebuild Zoltankuhl. Gotta put Humpty Dumpty back together again, and it takes a really long fucking time. This is like the longest quest line, and it makes Act 2 a really long act. Act 1 takes long in New Game just because you start off slow, and Act 2 takes long just because there's a lot of content to push through. And I would like to leave this dungeon or teleport out. These mobs don't want me to.
An incredible feat.
I can't give that to him. Oh, we unlocked preparation.
If you keep holding back,
This
then
is the
you
one
will
speech
regret.
bubble that we can't skip in any way.
It is time.
The only way to skip it is to talk to her before she starts talking, which is really hard to time.
I'm going to go with you.
I'm gonna make sure we take prep here.
Maybe he'll have something
Normally
useful
I'd
to
take
say.
this on the move,
I'll
but
put
you
it in
can't
the bag.
change skills while in combat.
No, he will betray us.
So I just wanted to make sure I had time to take it and not forget later on, because it's very important. So the exit's gonna be in the top right here, across this bridge.
You will not.
Oh no, I skipped his voice line. Crap. I will not enter the aqueducts. Try and stop me.
I am too low on discipline.
Oh.
Emperor Hakan?
Seems his efforts
I don't
were
like
in
the look of this
didn't
place.
work.
Something was here before us.
Don't think he tried very hard to stop me from entering the aqueducts.
So long as he lives, all of Chaldean is under siege.
Does
There we
he
go.
command
Okay.
all of these demons to serve him?
Uncle Deckard theorized that the demons
These are the
use
bad
these
sewers
demons
I
in
was
their
talking
wake,
about.
much like us leaving footprints.
Do you
Yeah.
believe that?
It can be very tilting.
The more I study my
It usually works out best if we just don't think about it, and then the exit kind of just randomly appears in front of us. That's how this map seems to work. Oh, nice. So that wasn't too bad. But we have one more channel to search through.
The light still guides us, even in the darkest of places.
That's one lever down.
Such good voice lines. So cheesy.
We must stop her for our master.
Yeah. So, just to explain how bad these channel maps can be, there can be up to 3 dead ends, and these aren't just these little tiny dead end things. These are like these giant long winding paths from like here until here could have ended up being a dead end, but it wasn't. So that was a really nice channels section there.
That passage should lead to the desolate sands.
Here's one of my favorite characters, where he's actually inside the barrel right now. His name is Covetous Shen. He has some good voice lines. I'll try not to skip them, but they get skipped because we go too fast sometimes.
Rude of me. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is... I can't imagine why my young partner bashed me over the head and sealed me in there.
Why would he do that? That's just mean.
Guide.
You were careless to come here in the first place. How have you lived so long?
I am too...
Crucible, it's
No, he didn't finish. He says I'm too beautiful to kill.
Dear, I did warn. I thought...
You go on.
you and I are the same. But those others,
Okay, so
fallen angel,
Covetous Shen's warning was fell upon deaf ears. Wasn't because he was too late to warn him.
yet the power of your birthright could make you a god.
Here,
I
another
don't know
map with
well.
static borders with
Power
the
often
contents
brought
within
about.
switching up.
There's no need to be snide.
The path here I'm following is a pretty easy one to remember. It's just kind of a giant U shape. There's a giant hole in the middle of the map that we make a U around. And you want to be careful when you're looking for this cave map. There's another cave that can spawn, and if you're not careful at looking at the name or making sure that the quest objective pops up, you might go into the wrong cave and waste a bunch of time exploring somewhere you don't need to be. And if I break enough eggs here, I should be able to get some move speed. And the caves don't have a whole lot of dead ends, but they have a couple of loops. Oh, this one wasn't a loop. It looked like it was gonna be one. The second floor can have a couple of dead ends, but they're not too bad. The map will always end up towards the top left, so we want to head that way, but there's some... I say that and I don't go that way. Why would I do that? So as you can see, what I was saying is true, and that was like the shortest level 2 I have ever fucking seen. Holy crap. So that path can be much longer sometimes, and there can be like some debate pieces that go towards the top left that end up being little dead ends, and you have to backtrack a little bit and go up further. Wow, this is a really, that's the ideal spawns for this map. Actually, maybe the second best. I think we didn't get them on the first two, but we got them on the second and third possible spawns. And we didn't see the waypoint, so there's a possibility that the waypoint is like right on top of the place we need to go afterwards. I need to check across these stairs. I hate checking across these stairs, but I have to, because if it's not here, there's... oh wait. Oh. Well, that's nice. It's still connected to the rest of the map. That can end up being on a tile that's a dead end, and you have to go backwards through those stairs. It's not very fun. Should be in the... need to check over here. Okay, so it normally never spawns on top of this fork, but since I don't want to embarrass myself, I'm gonna double check anyways. So yeah, it's not here. Then where could it be? Nobody knows. Probably this way. It's looking like this one could be one that goes towards the center, and I might have guessed. Bottom right, maybe. Nope, that's not a path. Messed up again. I need to check this. There's a possibility that that would lead into... oh, you know, I see it now. I see where we done mucked up. Gonna be right here. There we go. A little bit of backtracking, but we still got really good spawns on the map, so we're gonna take the waypoint and see where it takes us. Alright, that was about even with where we already were, so we didn't gain much from getting the waypoint. There's a waypoint spawn up in the top right here that would put us right on top of the bridge that we are heading towards. So there can be some breakables that spawn in this hallway. It doesn't look like there's enough. I need to hit 7 or more breakables. And these next two maps can be literally straightforward, as in they are straight lines. They usually have a turn or two in them though, but they're one long corridor. There can be 1 or 2 short dead ends that spawn. But we won't see them this time, so if I'd kept going straight, I would have hit a wall there. We open these shadow locks. We have to get 1 more shadow lock to unlock the room to get to Zoltan Kuhl's body so we can bring him back to life, and then immediately kill him after all of our efforts to bring him back to life. All that just to kill him. Very long quest line. So yep, head in the straight line here. Fortunate that we haven't found any breakables. Oh, there's exactly enough right here. Actually, there's one extra. You know, I still don't have boots. I wish I didn't notice that I didn't have them yet, because now I'm salty. Give me boots.
This must be the shadow portal. Let us be done with this.
Alright. For the Realm of Shadow, I'm going to be looking for a tile that has this sort of ball thing in the center of it. And the his body is gonna be on one of the pieces next to it. So this is the thing we're looking for. And I can... Holy body block. Out of my way. And I can tell by the mini-map which tile it's going to be on, because it always has this sort of shape to it. Now we finally rebuilt him, so we can kill him. Oh no, he betrayed us immediately. What a rude dude. So that takes up most of Act 2, that quest line. Now we just have to do a little bit more to go fight Belial. So if we remember that rude townsperson from earlier, we can get our revenge here. Belial's sieging the town, and we need to save the people, but we don't technically have to save them to progress. We just need to get all the refugees out of the map one way or another, so if they accidentally die along the way, it doesn't matter. But it is faster to just save them than to try and get them killed on purpose. But a whole bunch of them just got smacked down there by those meteors. Actually, I don't think they died. It looks like they were fine. Whatever. I don't know how this game works. It doesn't make sense. We can get move speed here. And we gotta kill this guy to remove that wall. And we have to kill the blue pack so that Leah can open the door for us.
It is up to you now.
And this is the last boss in this act, so again, another guaranteed legendary. And there's 3 phases to this fight. First we gotta kill the snakes, then we gotta kill Belial's smaller form, which he's in right now, and then his final form. just gonna use my hatred generator here to make sure I have enough to channel him down. And we're just gonna tank all of his smashes. We have a lot of regen. Doesn't hit very hard. We gotta pick up his soul, put it in the soul stone. We got a bow.
I need to go back.
That's nice. So even though the Demon Hunter specific items aren't gonna give us huge skill specific damage numbers, but it'll still have a good good base stats on it for us. And normally at the start of the act there, you would walk down through a little cellar area and then into the main town area, but you can teleport right away from the start, which is faster, and you can save your discipline for this map. So here we gotta go light some beacons. They're always in the same spot. So most of this map is just navigating around enemies and trying to find breakable bonuses where you can. And we'll be identifying the legendary in the next map because there's quite a bit of downtime. We have to wait for some timed events.
I hear you're the best there is.
Yes, yes I am. Thank you very much.
We're all going to die.
No, you'll be fine. Oh no. Well, that was unfortunate.
It's an honor to fight by your side.
There might have been enough breakables down back in this area, but certain breakable objects look like there's more than there actually is
Our champion is
at times.
Those bastards didn't stand a chance.
So we have one more beacon to light.
Welcome sight,
Bacon.
hero. What is that? It's grim out here, but we've seen worse.
So for this event here, it's a timed event. Some monsters will spawn, but we don't have to kill them to progress it. So I'm gonna go up here and identify my legendary. Maybe. Normally things don't follow me up here. So, nice flat damage boost. Sort through our inventory. But yeah. Now would be a good time for a bathroom break, grab some popcorn, all that.
Is moving again. Hold steady,
Oh, well, I guess it's over.
reinforcements are on their way.
Hope you were fast. Next up is raising the catapults, and it has a very infamous soft lock. And if you do soft lock on this part of the quest, you'll have to redo raising the drawbridge again, so you lose about 5 minutes if you do soft lock. But there's, in my opinion, a very easy way to prevent it. So yeah, we'll be doing that. Sometimes it has given other people trouble, but our strategy here is to kill everything that's in this area before we start the
You must be the one that lit the signal fires.
the objective. So now the recruits are gonna start spawning, and if we leave the area, we won't be spawning any more mobs, and since we cleared out the mobs that were already there, I'm gonna kill these guys to be safe. If they follow me up there, they might potentially kill the recruits, and if all the recruits die, the
Scouts report that more of those wretched
quest will just never finish, and you can't fail the quest, so you have to leave the game and restart that quest line. And the last one we just raise on our own. So it's, I believe, the first one that takes the longest, so it's not as important to get to the second two very quickly. So yeah, more downtime here, just clicking on the wheel. Letting a bunch of demons wail on me while I'm doing so. So one thing I want to try to do here, once the demons stop spawning, is see if I can get some breakable bonus before teleporting back to town. So there's a bunch of demons here. This might not work. Nope, didn't work. Okay, so we're gonna lose a little bit of time. We normally want to be back in town as that quest is finishing. Not a huge loss though. So yeah. And when you do softlock on the catapults, it can be a bit confusing because if you go back and look at the catapults, there's usually a visual bug associated when the recruits die while you're not there. It'll look like they're still there raising the catapult, but they're actually dead, and you'll usually see some monsters standing around next to them. We finally have move speed boots. Thank goodness. So yeah, this tile is like always a dead end, but I haven't done the run in a while, so I kind of wanted to just be safe. You know, I think this is the wrong way as well. But since I'm here, I'm gonna check it now. Misread the map. Yeah. So the way I wanted to go was right there. So keep depths level 1. Can have a lot of dead ends, which I could have potentially avoided, because I typically want to go towards the right in this map. And now I'm going to start heading upwards as well, because the tile is always facing the same way on the exit, so it'll lead us towards the top left eventually. So it should be right past this tile here. This one doesn't guarantee that we're heading towards the exit, but the next one will. So this is what the exit tile always looks like. And for level 2, we just want to head as far to the left as possible. Sometimes you'll need to go up and to the left or down and to the left. It depends on where you spawn, the direction you spawn in from. It seems this time we just spawned in straight across, so we're just gonna head towards the top left in general, whichever way it pushes us. Looks like we're gonna go down and to the left here. And there's lots of nice breakables down here. Another thing to mention about the buff is that it doesn't refresh the way that you first initially get the buff. Meaning if I break 7 objects while I still have the buff, it's not going to give me 30 more seconds. It's only going to give me a couple more seconds of the buff. So I have to wait for it to fully expire if I want to get another destructible bonus. And those mobs hurt a lot. That was a little spooky. and keep depths level 3. We're looking for GOM. There's 3 possible paths that can be the right one, and depending on where we spawn in from, it can eliminate one of those paths, and since we spawned in the top right, it did end up eliminating a path. So we were down to a 50-50, and we got it on the first one. I will never need to check the bottom left of that map, because, yeah, it's a small map, and the exit's always towards the right. So it can't fit a path connecting to the bottom, or something. Something like that. I just know the rule. I don't know why. I make up why. We make up the why. Why are we fighting Diablo? 'Cause. Because he's trying to take away our waifus. That's why we're killing Diablo. So now we're going to be heading out onto the battlefields, and I'm going to be taking Impale back again, and we're going to be taking Chemical Burn, so that's it applies a burning dot after I hit with it, and if I have a weapon that bursts hard enough, there's going to be some trebuchets and catapults that I'll be able to one-shot with the Impale. And so there's 3 different types of Demon Hunter weapons. There's bows, there's one-handed crossbows, and two-handed crossbows. And so Impale works best with two-handed crossbows because they shoot slow but they hit hard, and Impale is least effective with one-handed crossbows because they shoot very fast but are weak, and I used the wrong skill to kill that, so as you can see I was able to one-shot that with Impale. Okay. I'm gonna check the left thoroughly here because I messed up in the practice run. We should be good this time. So the catapults have a couple of different spots that they can spawn at, so we'll just be checking them all. This one in the middle, this big one in the middle, always spawns here. So there's one more spot down here, it's not there, and one more spot to the right. And now, here's the biggest fucking bridge you have ever seen. It's hard to tell it's a bridge because it takes up the whole screen, but if you were to look at if I walk up to the edge and you see the background, it's actually a giant bridge. I think we'll give him this spear, because why not? There's usually a couple spots on here to find some breakables. That won't be enough. Hello, Rush. Or Lamau Rush, question mark. I'm not sure what the question is. I will attempt to answer it if you explain further. Ooh, a nice fleeting shrine. To get some move speed from that. And we're heading towards the Siege Breaker. So a fun little fact that doesn't really matter for New Game here is this gate that we're about to see destroyed. You can actually shoot through and move through. So in New Game Plus runs, when you can just one-shot this guy, you just movement speed, or you use your movement ability straight through that gate and instantly click on the door on the way to get down here. Don't have to wait for it to break open. But on New Game, we're too slow to do that. Ariat Craters, we'll have to do this, and 2 Ariat Craters. we got a really good one this time. I checked this corner because that's a possible shrine spawn. It can be a bit of a tricky map. We got a good map there though. It can have some long dead ends on it and are basically unpredictable on which way you need to go. The Tower of the Damned levels though are just some circles. Can't really go the wrong way.
Every step brings you closer to my embrace.
Vala, your favorite Diablo waifu. Ooh, we got an amulet too. No pants. So yeah, there's not much to say here except there's a bit of lore that I always like to share about this spot because there's not much to talk about. See that big demon in the background and that one too? They have these like giant awful masks that pierce through their skulls and their eyes and stuff. And they're chained up there. And they're chained up there like that so that their skin can be used to pave the floors of this place. Yeah. There's your lore. And if you've seen this run before, you probably already know that because I always share that because it's fucked up.
On their agony, their eternal.
We're not sure why that their skin is being used to pave the roads, but it is. They were given a very shitty job. So there's gonna be 3 succubuses that spawn here. I have to kill, and then we hit the heart, and we can progress forward. So we get Sidea down to half there, and then we have to go search for her again to finish her off in the second fight. And here we're back in the Eric Craters style map. And it looks like... So this is the fork in the road that usually gives me trouble. In my practice run, going to the left was the right way, so we'll see if that is the same this time around. And it looks like it actually might be. So that other option that would have gave me kind of a medium-ish dead end. We're gonna check this corner again for shrine spawns, and there's none. That's hell, alright. Yeah. And look at that, I can take the shrine from down here. Fancy little trick. And it's an empowered shrine. So, again, that shrine will give us increased resource regeneration and reduce cooldowns. So I can spam vault and preparation to give us more discipline. And we'll continue going in circles here.
I can almost feel your breath on my skin.
Mm-hmm.
The anticipation is exquisite.
Lewd. Yeah. That's Sidea. Very lustful. So we have a lot of damage right now, so this fight will be pretty fast. She's kind of invulnerable at the start. Now we can kill her.
You will not make me bow.
So I want to kill that heart and then pick up the items. Also, we get action shot on our vault now, so that'll just shoot out arrows every time I vault, which mainly helps us get breakable bonuses easier. And this map is always exactly the same, so I just have to try to not get body blocked on my way to Asmodan. And he is the last boss of Act 3, so he'll be giving us another legendary. And maybe we'll get to hear his famous quote a couple of times. I might kill him too fast for him to say it more than once. One. Oh, he was about to say it a second time. So he's famous for saying arrogant Nephilim like a lot. I believe there was patch notes at one point that said they nerfed how often he says arrogant Nephilim, but he still says it a lot. It's like the only thing he knows how to say. So we were able to move a little bit during that cutscene skip to get on top of that portal, save a little bit of time. And as soon as I get in here, I'm gonna try to identify these. The demons might interrupt me. It's kind of like a 50-50. Sometimes they spawn far away. We'll still be able to ID it during this fight. I just have to wait because Iskatu has 2 phases. I get him down to half and then he disappears. So, can usually always get it identified the second time here. And I also need to switch my hatred generator around. I want it to be on evasive fire. That can also proc tactical advantage for us and get us unstuck sometimes if I'm ever out of discipline. So this map leading to Rakanoth, always the same. And we're going to be grabbing this Well of Blessing. It gives us a random shrine buff as well as healing us. And it looks like we got Enlightened. Not super useful. It's increased XP. And we don't really need levels. At this point we have pretty much everything we need unlocked. We can get another Preparation rune, I think at level 19. Ooh, Empowered Shrine, that's nice. So I'm gonna sort of stutter step and throw knives at Rakanoth here because I need to talk to the angels behind him after I kill him. And now we're going to be killing these corrupted growths looking for a Hell Rift. It's in a random growth, but all the growths are in the same spot. And the only rule as to which ones they can and can't be in is they won't be in any of the growths that are directly blocking a path. So it wouldn't have been in that one, it can't be in that one either. It won't be in that one, but I need to go that way eventually.
The angel spirit is free now. May he be at peace.
And I need to remember to vault more. One of the issues with getting empowered shrines is just remembering to vault more often, because you get in the habit of vaulting, hitting the vault button at the exact same time, because you want to have them spaced out. Ooh, got it on the first spawn. Nice. So there's quite a few growths that you would have to check normally, but we got good RNG. And for the Gardens of Hope second tier, there's 2 different layouts you can get, but besides that, like, you just need to memorize the 2. There's not anything random about them besides it just being one or the other. So there's one that spawns you in from the left, and there's one that spawns you in from the right. Oh, what is that? I didn't even check it. Enlightened, don't care. Alright, hopefully Tyrael's nice to us here. Sometimes he gives us the cold shoulder for a little bit and just won't talk to us. So normally we gotta kill everything around him, and eventually he will talk to us. There we go. So he is pretty nice to us that time. Sometimes he'll sit there for a long time and not want to talk to you.
The darkness grows around us.
So for the Silver Spires, we typically want to look for these bridges. Those will lead us towards the exit. Sometimes there's layouts where there's like no bridges at all or very few. So it can be hard when you get those layouts. But yeah, there's not much you can do to predict which way to go. It's kind of just feeling it out. But we should be on the right path now since we found a bridge this far away from the entrance. Knowing if you're going the right direction is kind of like, if you go a certain distance in a lot of these maps and you haven't hit a dead end by a certain point, you're probably on the right path. Unless you get the longest dead end in the world, in which case that's just really unfortunate. I'm gonna try and dodge his freeze attack. We dodged the first one, he's got a second one. We have invulnerability during vaults and during our evasive fire backflip. I mistimed the second one. It's really hard to time. The read on that ability is very short. But I'm glad I got to dodge at least one of them. So that was Iswal. He was an angel turned demon. Very tragic. And now we are headed to Diablo. Diablo himself. The run does not end at Diablo though, since we are running Reaper of Souls. We'll be continuing on after killing Diablo into Act 5. And we got a very nice path straight to him. So before I enter this fight, because I remembered, I'm going to take the stun rune on Impale so I can stun lock his second phase because he likes to run away. Oh, I need to talk to Tyrael. There we go. Hopefully we hit... Okay, we did hit accept on that skill change. Sometimes if I close the window, I'll close the window without actually hitting accept. And then it wouldn't switch skills. So, he has 3 phases. We get him down to half health, then he sends us to the Realm of Terror, aka the Shadow Realm, because Yu-Gi-Oh memes. I think that's... yeah. That's the meme, right? But this is the Realm of Terror. And this guy will teleport away, but we can kind of stun lock him if we space out our impales. So that is pretty good. He teleported away once. Normally he'll teleport away like 4 or 5 times. I don't have enough hatred this... Okay, we got him in 2. That's good. And now we just DPS him down. Oh, I do have to dodge that though, but I actually killed him like right as I got trapped by that cage. That's why I was able to escape it. Normally you can't get out of that cage if it traps you. And I need to drop items very badly. I haven't been staying on top of that. So yeah, Act 4 is really quick. It's basically just like a boss rush act. It's just bosses and bosses and bosses. And now we're in Act 5. In my opinion, the worst act because there's a lot of RNG involved. Since the maps are so big and they can have a lot of dead ends. There's just a whole slew of RNG related stuff in Act 5, and they made everything really big. However, aesthetically, it's probably in the direction that a lot of people wanted, based on the criticisms of the vanilla base game being too vibrant. They went back towards a more dark, grim, gritty color palette. I mean, there's not much they can do about the graphics that they already made for the game, but they definitely went with a different color theme for Act 5. So there's some enemies I have to wait for on a timer here, so we're gonna ID this. And we're gonna talk to Tyrael as he's walking out. By skipping that conversation, we can start the next quest while he's walking. And I'm gonna vault excessively there to get the move speed off of breaking the benches. Otherwise, if I didn't vault enough, I'd break a couple of benches and end up not getting move speed from them, because I wouldn't... I'd break a few and then end up with not enough after the fight to get the movement speed proc. Ooh, so many items to look through. So this is our first big random map. I don't really need to look at the map, I just need to start walking in like random directions essentially. That's how bad these maps can be. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna keep walking. Vaulting our way downtown. We should be getting close to it. See, every time I say it, it pops up. I should just say that at the start of the map, and then we'll instantly be at the next objective. Instantly drop stuff not for your class, because it's taking up room in my inventory. Oh, why don't I? I do. I'm just focused on many things at once. If I weren't commentating, my inventory would be probably close to empty right now. I also wanted to switch back to the other Impale rune. Okay, so Cemetery spawns in two sections. They're just squares, and there's a narrow path connecting these two squares, so we are looking for that path. And I'm gonna... there we go. Vault an extra time there to get the destructible bonus. Marathon is cancelled. Uh-oh. What is this? Protection Shrine. So here's the path we're looking for to lead to the second part of the map here. And the exit is going to be along one of the edges, so I have to just hug side.
How did you hear about her? Ah, I heard you're in town, hero. Should have known you'd show up in time for a fight.
Ah, yeah. About that. Don't have time for the fight, sorry. So I'm gonna switch back to Chemical Burn to try and one-shot these body piles. But yeah, about that dark and gritty theme, if you look at the ground here, we're actually just walking on top of a bunch of corpses. So the people that weren't happy about Diablo not being dark enough, I think they tried their best to make it more gory, even though it was originally pretty gory. There's like lots of people on pikes and stuff in the other acts, but I think most people's
I have more control now.
displeasure with the art style is more of how the textures and graphics look, not really the content of them or the color palette very much. Okay, so now we are looking for Urzael. He's a giant fire demon thingy, or undead. Not really sure. He's definitely got some fire skills. And his boss room is always facing the same way. It doesn't really mean much though, because this map can wrap around on itself. So the exit's always like facing the top left, but we can have it kind of make a giant loop around and still be facing that direction. But more times than not, just heading towards the left is what you want to do. And my character usually trips at the top of the stairs. I'm gonna vault over it this time. And Urzael's kind of annoying because he has a unskippable kind of dialogue cutscene thing here. It's pretty annoying. Has to do all this. There we go. Now we can finish him. And I will need to watch my health here, because the bosses towards the end of the game in Act 4 and 5 can potentially kill me. Before this point, nothing was really that scary. We didn't have to worry about dying, but now we have to be a bit more careful. So in town here, let's keep in mind that I can teleport instantly, so we're gonna do this to get back to Miriam faster. And for the longest time, I never did that trick just because I never thought of it. But someone in YouTube comments was triggered that I wasn't doing that. They're like, why don't you do this? I was like, oh, because I never thought about it. So yeah, it's a small little save there. Save yourself from walking a little bit. So now we're headed into one of the two worst maps in the entire game. Because it is a giant map with a lot of RNG involved in getting to the next place. And since we're level 20, we can take a second passive. Now we're just going to take a damage one. So there's not much else that's useful. So, the first section of this map, we have to look for a door. That's the easiest part of this map, by far. Then we're going to enter a giant open area. And we're searching for one of 3 dungeons. Based on the lore, it's 4, but we always eliminate one immediately. When we touch an orb, it'll tell us one of the incorrect passages. And there's more guide stones in this open area that you're supposed to go and touch to eliminate until you only have 1 passage remaining. But normally they're very hard to find. We found one immediately though, so that's nice. But we need to find one more if we want to eliminate it the intended way. Otherwise, the best strategy, if you don't find one, you start heading towards the closest door. And if you don't find any on the way, then you just go in. And you hope that you get lucky. because those guide stones can be really annoying to find. The range on the game telling you where they are is really small, and that map is really big. Also, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this layout. It's not feeling like the layout of the correct map, but it could be. I just won't know. Oh, I was right. So this wasn't the right one, but we picked up one other guide stone, so there's only one map left. And it's way the hell over there. And yeah, that's a creepy laugh. That sometimes happens and it usually scares the shit out of me. That's one of the mobs. Hope you didn't get spooked. 'Cause I kinda did. I don't know why that's so loud. It might be considered an ambient or environmental noise because I have that volume slider cranked all the way up for the trick we used to find the correct crypt back in Act 1. And there's no real reason for me to stop and adjust the volume sliders, so you get some interesting, really loud noises sometimes. Alright, so that map is usually not too bad. I could have ended up going through a bit of a loop, but we guessed the correct way. And yeah, reading these maps is kind of just by feel, knowing what identifying the dead ends as soon as possible and identifying where the loops are so you don't go through them. Still got spooked. Sounds like me laughing. Nice. So yeah, usually this map tends to have a bit of a choke and is split up into two sections. I'm guessing that the choke is right there, so we should be heading towards the exit now. There might be one more split path that we'll have to check. Yeah, so it's either going to be to the bottom right or to the top left of this spot. It looks like I checked the spot that's further away first. Hopefully this is it. Otherwise we're gonna have to... Okay, we have to do a little bit of backtracking then. Not too much backtracking. It's not like I have to go all the way back there or something in the map. The exit should be right here. Yep. That was a long loading screen thing.
Angels or demons, I will make my own fate and seal yours.
Diablo sent me a vision. He had returned, and you were the
Diablo
one who
returned.
freed him.
It's coming back in Diablo Immortal.
Always finds a way.
Oh boy.
Master,
Oh boy, Diablo Immortal. Can't wait to not play that.
Diablo will
So, the quest giver, whose name I cannot recall at this moment, walks in from that spot, and if you time it right, you can talk to him and immediately start teleporting. Save a little bit of time.
Mouth
Don't you have a phone? Nope. So, you guys may or may not have seen yet, this year's BlizzCon, you are literally required to have a phone to get into BlizzCon. The way they're doing it is you have to have the app to use your ticket to get scanned in. They won't be accepting screenshots of tickets or printouts of tickets because to avoid fraudulent tickets. So the meme intensifies. I hope you guys have phones, because otherwise you're not getting in. Don't leave your phone at home either. So here to unlock these gates, we just have to kill the demons. So we just kind of sit here spamming. And then our boy Imperius comes down and destroys the giant wave of demons that we could just easily kill ourselves. But, you know, we gotta give him some time in the spotlight. And spam my vault here to get to this guy. And on the way in, it's really hard to see if you're not looking for it, but there were 2 towers on the side, and I broke the chains of those towers. Okay, that guy just ruined my strategy. So, normally you have to wait for that gate to be broken by Imperius, but you can actually start teleporting to the waypoint that's in front of him before he opens the gate, so you don't have to walk down that way. Here's the map that is tied with the blood marshes that we were in earlier for worst map in the game. Just a large random giant mess. We're looking for 2 siege runes. The only things that we know for sure about this map is that it's big, that one of the siege runes spawns along the edge, and that the exit is along the edge, and the other siege rune is somewhere within the center of the map. So we have to hug one of the edges. We have to hug the edge until we find the edge one, and then we can just kind of run around in the middle. The one in the middle of the map is a lot easier to find. But we have to be careful when we're traversing these edges, because some of them look like they'll be just a continuation of the wall, but they'll actually have a little tiny skinny path. So this is our siege rune that spawned along the border. So now we just have to find the one in the center of the map. Get that pillar out of my way. So that's where the exit will be. We'll have to come back there. We have to find the other siege rune first. Ticket app will be Diablo Immortal in disguise. That's a cursed chest. That's not what we're looking for. There's the other one. And you want to make sure after killing these siege rune keepers that you actually pick up the siege rune that they drop. Sometimes you unlock the thing and kill the mob that you need to kill, but you forget to pick up the siege rune. That's always a bad feeling when you do that. So we're getting close to the end of the run. We have kind of a auto-scrollery thing after this demon here. We have to open the gates with this ram, and there's not really anything I can do to save time. Some chains will spawn that I have to break, and that's about it as far as time saving goes. Killing the chains as fast as possible. So chains are gonna spawn after the second hit on the door. Did I get this ID off? I did. They're gonna spawn right here at the front.
Shatter the hooks.
And after this hit, 4 hooks are gonna spawn and an elite, and I have to kill the elite before killing the hooks. Otherwise, the hooks will keep respawning. They'll just keep sending more in.
Destroy those hooks. We can't move
So we
until
gotta
they're
kill Darth, whatever his name was. I'm out of hatred.
gone. One more hit and it will fall.
And I mean, dropping items now really doesn't have a point because I'm only gonna get like 2 more items in the run. We have 2 more maps that I have to do some big traversing through, and then a little tiny map right before Malthael, and then Malthael is the last boss of the game.
Pandemonium Fortress.
And time will be when I talk to Tyrael at the end, which is like 30 seconds or so after I kill or deal the killing blow to Malthael. So my general strategy for level 1 is to go to the bottom right. There's a bunch of different layouts you can get, but if you get one that there's a very short layout that you can get towards the bottom right, so you just kind of go towards, I always start off going towards that direction in hopes that you get the short map. So this was a pretty good one. It wasn't the one I was talking about, but that was also a pretty good one to find. And the last map that we have a lot of traversing to do, or a bit of traversing here, is Pandemonium level 2. And this one has a consistent strategy. We just follow the left-hand side until we find the portals. And you'll always want to follow the left-hand side no matter what you see on the minimap. Sometimes you'll get portals that spawn towards the upper right, and that's either just a really funky layout that ends up going that way, or it's a side quest, and either way you don't want to head towards those portals before going into these ones. So always just follow the left hand side until you get to those portals. And now we just go through the portals to get to the end of the map. And we're gonna try and change our strafe ability to something actually useful before the boss fight. It doesn't make a huge difference. Probably gonna take Marked for Death in this case, which curses the enemy to take increased damage. Cat Girl Kara, I'm drunk. So here's the little mini map before, and gonna take Marked for Death. So there's 2 parts where Malthael can be one part where he can be immune to damage when he's talking, so I'm spamming to skip through dialogue right now. And he actually started talking right when I stopped spamming to skip it. And he is also immune to death, but not immune to damage during one of his attacks in the second phase here. And I don't have enough damage that it even matters, because he's gonna get the full attack off, most likely. So during that attack, you can get him down to 1 HP, but you can't kill him until he finishes the attack. But we were too weak to kill him that fast anyways. And that is our last boss. As I said, time will be when I talk to Tyrael. He's gonna walk in from over here. So yeah, that was Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Any % new game Demon Hunter. Hope you guys enjoyed it. if you're interested in running, check out speedrun.com and time. Yeah, check out speedrun.com. On there you can find a link to our Discord. We got lots of friendly people that are willing to help if you have questions. But I hope you guys enjoyed the run and enjoy the rest of the marathon.